Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. The upcoming release of the Ultimate Warriors book and Ultimate Warrior Day being next week in New York as a part of SummerSlam. I sat down and I watched the Ultimate Warrior documentary on the Blu-ray. This came out a good long while ago, and honestly, the documentary in a edited fashion debuted the week after WrestleMania 30. The week after Ultimate Warrior's death, the week after Ultimate Warrior made his return to WWE, the day after, I'm still speechless. Because honestly, I just finished watching this documentary not even within 5 minutes ago. And I think one of the main reasons why I put off watching this for so long was because I knew this shit was going to make me cry. This documentary is, even if you watched it the day that it debuted on the network, I'm not sure if it's still up there, if they pulled it hoping to help Blu-ray and DVD sales of this DVD. I'm not sure if that's what they do, like with the Daniel Bryan documentary that got re-released on the Yes, Yes, Yes DVD or not, but man, this shit was sad, and it was good. It was a great documentary. Yeah, honestly, when it comes down to it, the career of the Ultimate Warrior, I believe, was second to anything that was featured on here. I think this was more about the life of Ultimate Warrior, trying to right the wrongs of the destruction of Ultimate Warrior DVD that came out around 2005 or 2006. I can't remember what the year is. I will tell you that if you're looking for the Ultimate Warrior's career in wrestling to be highlighted, I mean, they really only talk about and being involved in wrestling. Him and Sting being involved in the Blade Runners is talked about pretty fast. They talk about SummerSlam '88, him beating Honky Tonk Man for the Intercontinental Championship. They talk about him main eventing WrestleMania 6 against Hulk Hogan. They talk about him losing the championship very fast to Sergeant Slaughter, building up the Randy Savage retirement match at WrestleMania 7. And they mainly breeze through WCW and the Hulk Hogan match, which they barely even talk about. They talk about him going to WCW. They don't really talk about any highlights that come out of that, and then they talk about his return, which is the main feature, I think, of the Always Believe documentary about him coming back and mainly, just righting the wrongs that mainly WWE had done to the Warrior family. And just bringing him back into the family. They talk about the fact that the Ultimate Warrior was doing his own thing on his side. He basically had a team of people that were around him. Warrior, around 2010, starting to get more into the spotlight as a celebrity again. Mainly just doing autograph shows and taking pictures and things like that. He wasn't doing them all the time. It wasn't like he was, I apologize to the Bret the Hitman Hart fans, but it's not like Bret the Hitman Hart where, this guy's showing up at every independent show across the country, trying to make as much money as he can. He was mainly just doing it, in big shows that would bring him in. I know that my buddy Miguel, freaking 88, and my buddy Luke, they were able to go to. I know that Miguel met him twice. I think that Luke only met him once. But I remember how big that signing was. I believe it was in Hollywood. Luke even met David Arquette. And it was like in a record store. And it was one of the first Warrior signings that there had been in, I want to say, forever. And they were, making it really, really special, bringing him in. They even show, I don't know if that's the one that they show, but when they start talking about Ultimate Warrior, rebuilding his brand, they show footage of an autograph signing, and it's really, really cool. Warrior even talks about how much his fans still love him from back in the past because he is one of their legends and one of their heroes that did not self-destruct. And that's something that I'm going through as of right now. I mean, I will tell you 100% that I liked the Ultimate Warrior as a kid. But like when Warrior and Hogan fought at WrestleMania, I was not on Team Warrior. I was on Team Hogan. And Hulk was always my guy. I don't know if that I had been watching wrestling longer and been brainwashed that Hogan was better. I don't know if many Hogan supporters left to become fans of Ultimate Warrior at the time. But I just remember when it went down, just thinking, well, when Hogan gets his rematch, he'll get his belt back. That was officially my thoughts on what was going down. So, you know, with all the negative things that are in the press about Hulk Hogan, he 100% deserves everything that he's going through right now, because you just shouldn't say things like that about people. You shouldn't say it, no matter if it's publicly or privately. You know, it's just not accepted. I mean, that's just not okay. And, you know, that's something that he's paying for right now, not being involved with WWE, not being on the WWE website, basically acting like anything with Hulk Hogan involved with WWE history is scrubbed. Ultimate Warrior is a guy that when you see him sit down to a meeting at WWE offices talking about what what Ultimate Warrior means to WWE and what the brand is going to be, how he's going to be featured, how he's going to be used. And he flat out says it out. He's not going to beat around the bush. What Mickey Mouse is to Walt Disney, the Warrior brand means to the Ultimate Warrior. So he's not going to let himself be used in a negative light in anything. He's going to make sure that basically if you know, he's going to be featured on a T-shirt, that the T-shirt's going to be worthy of being sold. He just doesn't want crap being published and pushed out there, you know, watering himself down to not be what it's going to be. But WWE really did this right. I mean, basically, at the beginning of this documentary, they don't meet him at the airport, but he's in the car from the airport to go to WWE's headquarters for the very first time to sit down with Triple H. I don't think if Vince was there, they didn't show Vince. But he sits down with Triple H, and they're going over what's going to happen WrestleMania 30 weekend. They show him going into Triple H's office and looking at all the trinkets and everything like that, and a very cool look into what Triple H's office looks like if you're looking for the inside thing about what's going on there. But man, this was good, and it was powerful. There's not much that you can't say about Ultimate Warrior's wrestling career, but you know what he left behind. I mean, what we're going through right now. We lost Ultimate Warrior the day after my WrestleMania 30 trip ended. I remember that I had just gotten home. Well, the morning I had flown home from New Orleans. My wife picked me up. We immediately went to my daughter's softball game, and we were just getting home from softball when the things started coming across Twitter. And that was how I found out. I knew that my buddy Miguel was still traveling. I called him, and he was in his car. And like I said earlier, he's one of the biggest Ultimate Warrior fans of all time. And he was speechless. He didn't really even know what to say. So imagine what it's like for the Warrior family to not have your dad anymore. I mean, it's crazy. One of the things that they close out the documentary with is, I believe his wife's name is Dana, and she sits down and writes one more love note to her husband, and then the girls write letters to their dad. And this shit is sad. I mean, this is just... It's probably one of the saddest things that WWE's ever put on a DVD or a documentary or anything like that. I mean, they've done documentaries on people that have passed away before. Brian Pillman is the one that comes to mind. But really weird. I mean, like when they did the Bobby Heenan DVD, I mean, honestly, that came out maybe in 2010 or 2011. At that point, honestly, it sucks to say, but I think a lot of people at that time had thought that Bobby Heenan was going to die soon. And here we are in 2015, and Bobby Heenan is still alive. WWE chose not to air any footage of what Bobby Heenan looked like today, leaving his image of what he looked like the last time we saw him, probably... I guess that would be WrestleMania 2002? No. What year was WrestleMania 17? I guess that'd be WrestleMania 21. Whatever year. No, I guess that'd be 2001, because that'd be the year of the invasion, and the WCW invasion started right after that because they had just bought WCW. So 2001 is sort of the last images you get of Bobby Heenan. And the Bobby Heenan you see when you go to autograph sessions or WrestleCon or this, that, the other isn't the Bobby Heenan that I want to remember. I met him for the first time this year at WrestleCon. I bought his book, and I was glad that I was able to do that. He signed it for me. What a nice guy. But it's so weird because you know that the things in this Ultimate Warrior documentary are shot just days before his death. Him in the car on the way to the Hall of Fame. That's something that they like to do. We've seen it in the Scott Hall documentary that was recently released on the network. We saw it in the Kevin Nash documentary that was recently released on the network. They love following the guys to the Hall of Fame and getting their walk into the building. And that's what you get from Warrior as he steps out of his car. It just happens to be that the Ultimate Warrior theme music plays over the whole, what was the name of that place? The Smoothie King Center or something like that. You can hear it in the background. He hears it. And you see him getting ready for the Hall of Fame, and then you see him, going through his day at WrestleMania 30 when he was just gonna, put his tux on and walk out. It ends up that is where he runs into Hulk Hogan for the first time, and I'm not 100% sure if I believe everything that goes down with there. Everybody has two sides of the story between the meeting of Hogan and Warrior. Some people say it was set up by Hulk Hogan as sort of like a publicity stunt. I can't, as a Hogan fan, honestly say that Warrior accepts his apology in real life. I understand that he is a real humble person that stands behind the words that he says, and if he told Hogan that he accepted his apology, I'm sure that Hulk in Hulk's life really believes that he does. But the whole situation was just really weird, to have their first encounter in years since 2009 when they were in the same courtroom be on a with cameras shoved in their face as they're basically apologizing to each other, telling them that they love each other. You can see both guys react knowing that the camera is there. The camera is shooting over Warrior's shoulder, and right before he accepts his apology, you can almost see him look back at it, like especially with the corner of his eye, like what the heck is that? And then he realizes what it was, and then he accepts his apology, maybe knowing that they're shooting a documentary, maybe they're knowing that they're shooting a documentary about him. I mean, these were guys just a few years earlier, Wrestle Reunion or WrestleCon, one of the others, offered these guys $150,000 to do an autograph session together just to see what was going to happen, because Warrior had released the shoot interview on YouTube saying all the bad things about Hogan. Hogan had said all the bad things about Warrior in the past, and they were trading back and things through the dirt sheets and interviews, and it sucks. I mean, at least Hogan did get that apology, even if I don't believe it's 100% true. But if you saw the network documentary, I will tell you that I don't think they've edited it. I think that this is the full-length version. It's why you should go get this. It will ruin your day of how sad the ending is, especially if you're a dad and you have kids. Warrior was 56. I can't remember how old Dusty Rhodes was. Roddy Piper was 61. I can't really remember any more wrestling deaths that have been recently. But it's sad and it's crushing. I mean, this is one of the guys. 1991 SummerSlam, one of my favorite shows of all time. He wrestled in the main event, tagging with Hulk Hogan. So he's always going to be in those childhood memories of mine. And maybe sometimes when I think back about him, I don't even really remember that he's gone. So that's one of the saddest things about it. But Ultimate Warrior, always believe, documentary. I watched it today. I highly recommend it. You go pick this up if you don't have it. Because it's something that's additional to the network that you need to have in your collection. Plus it comes with all the tons of matches at the end.